Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. So today, despite us being on the fairy core island, this is not a fairy core video if you've not already read the title. Oh Shari, please, I'm in the middle of an intro, busty. Anyway, for today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys a little bit about how to make your own custom designs and pathing. One of the biggest things that I had to face while doing the 30-day hard mode challenge was having to make my own paths. And while I am such a perfectionist, a little critique, you guys seem to really enjoy the dirt path that I made. I got so many comments about how do I make one of these, where can I start, what do I do? There were a couple of little handy tidbits in there as well, but just a lot of people were sort of like, I want to do this, but I don't have Nintendo Online, so I can't install your one. Like, how do I make one on my own? So I thought today I'd give you guys a quick little brief overview of all of the designing stuff, and then just going into how to make your own dirt path. Just a very quick, easy tutorial coming from someone as well who's still a beginner. So, you know, let's go beginner besties in a sense. Before we get into this video, if you aren't already subscribed, make sure to hit that subscribe button. It is free. It's a big red button just under the screen. You'll be notified for all of my next uploads and you'll get welcome into our cute little game. So first of all, before we even get into designing, you're going to need to get one of the base upgrades for this one. And that is just the like pro designer one. It's like 900 miles or something. And it's the first upgrade that you can get for the custom designs. Then once you've got that, what you're going to want to do is head on into your custom designs in your Nook phone. From here, this is what it'll look like before you even do any of like any parcel stuff. You'll have these base ones and then you can also expand these further on down the track. But you just head on into a design that you want to change or create sort of thing, and you just press change design. As a brief overhaul of some of the information, so on the right side you've got all of your tools. So if you press X, it'll unlock so you can pick different things. From here you've got stuff like mirror mode, which means that if you do something over here, it'll mirror it to make it the same. You've of course got the swap preview, which will change to a different design depending on what you're wanting to use. The fill all, which will fill everything instead of just this like fill, which will just fill like the white, for instance, or like the pinks that are touching. You've got your different shapes. This one's a really cool tool. This is the drag design. This is one that I used for all of my brick pathing to make sure that I was starting in the right place. And when you press it, all it does is you can move the design over. It'll still like replicate the same design in a sense, but you can move it over, move it up as well, just adjustingly. You've got circle tools, rectangle tools that work just like that. And then of course your line tool and then your pen tool, which in here you can also go from a small to 4 to sort of a 9 stack. But the most important tools that we're going to be using are your change palette tools and then your changing color tools. So with the changing palette tools, if you click on that one, it's got all of these different colored palettes. This is really easy, I find, as a beginner to find a sort of couple of shades that I'm really vibing with or ones that I can change, because finding a particular shade can be pretty difficult. So normally I'll just sort of, depending on what I'm wanting to make, I'll just scroll through. This one's a typically a big go for me because it's quite a lot of like neutral shades, or this one here. I'm going to go with this one for now, and I'm just as well going to quickly head on over to this transparent one, and I'm just going to fill everything. And then on top of this, you've got your change color tool. So if I, for instance, head over to say this color here, I can tell that it's, while it's brown, it's still quite orangey pinky a little bit, and I don't really want that. So I'm going to press change color, and from that it'll pull up this. As you can see, it is in the red hue, and you see it's vividness and brightness. So if I change the vividness all the way up here, that'll make whiter. If I change it here, it'll make it a really intense color. So this will change the color depending on, and then also that'll also change depending on what color you pick up here. This is a really good tool to sort of pick and choose different colors. If you want to make it darker in color, it'll change the vividness colors. And if you change the vividness colors, it'll change these colors up here. There is lots that you can do to play around with this. So yeah, there's a couple of cool different websites as well that you can use. A really cool and handy tool if you're sort of still trying to play around with it before making an official design is the acpatterns.com/editor tool. From here you can change the color, and while it's a little bit easier per se, for instance if I want this color, it does give you different hues and stuff to play around with. You can try and replicate that color. So this is another really good tool if you're sort of wanting to plan out some stuff. It doesn't have all of the features of the actual like designer in the game, but it can still help out. If I want to, you know, play around with this color here and I want to fill everything, I can do that. And then if I want to pick some other different colors to sort of see see how it looks. Let's say, for instance, this darker color here, and I want to do a couple of dots and stuff around, then it can really help you sort of have a look at it. Probably not the best thing for a dirt path because they're not that hard to do. But for instance, if I wanted to do a rail path, that is where I could have a look at some colors and stuff and really sort of sketch something out with ease, just down to the like exact pixel and stuff. Well, this isn't a great example. Like you can sort of get the gist of things. You can plan some things out, try and find some colors and everything. It's a good tool to use if you're sort of brainstorming before you want to put it into the actual game. For this little mini tutorial per se, or like advice video, I'm just going to use the colors that we've already been given. So a really cool, helpful tidbit that I learned in my last video, if you watched any of my like 30-day series, you'll know that I started doing these corners and I had to redo everything. And a really cool idea that was given to me is you do the centerpiece first, because when you do the centerpiece, you can copy it and then you can take away the sides, which I'll show you guys in a bit. So to start off with, I'm just going to pick a base color. This is going to be my base color for all of my paths. I really like this obviously color, but from there we need to change it a little bit. So from here is when you can start adding in per se some circles and everything if you want that sort of stuff in there. So say I want maybe like a smaller circle here. This is more like detailed, intricate stuff, and then maybe one here, and then I want like a big gap here sort of thing. So you've got a couple of different like gaps and stuff there that help work out. For like more precise designs and stuff, normally I would go around, at least with my path, and go around with a darker color to sort of add a bit of a shadow, and then as well going through with a sort of a lighter-ish color or a color really similar to the background. This is not a great example of colors. Let's see if I can get a nicer shade for this. There we go. So it's only ever so slightly different, but it does, you can kind of see that it does show up, and it sort of just gives it a little bit of a nicer dimension. I'll probably end up changing the color of the darker as well, but it just helps to sort of add those different elements and different sort of shades and stuff to it. And yeah, as well, you know, here, that's a color that works out better. You can see once you've put it down, the colors on the like pattern will change with the palette and stuff that you're changing. So as well, on that being said, if I go and I change to this palette, all of the colors will change to, you know, where they are there. From here as well, you can add in simple things like maybe some flowers. Maybe you want like some pink flowers and stuff throughout here. Just a nice simple flower, or you can do mushrooms and everything. You can add in all these little decorations. Another big thing that I learned as well is obviously we want to try and make this look real. If it's just a block color, it's not going to look super realistic. So I think I had about 5 or so different colors, and all I would do is I would just go through, and it's very tedious, and this color is not the best for it, but it's a little tedious, but just adding in dots, maybe adding in little like triangles and stuff, different shapes, some lines, trying to not have too many things connecting. And once you add in different colors and everything, this will all really start to come together. It is really tedious to do. These paths and stuff are definitely not easy, and you can always add more. I feel like with a dirt path as well, or a path like this, more is better because you're adding in different colors and different contrast. But let's say I'm going to actually change that color. Even though this is a tutorial, I am a perfectionist. There we go. So that's a different color there. And then that is also a different color from this one here. So you just go through and add in all of these little dots. You definitely need at least, I'd say, 5 or so colors. It all really depends on what sort of theme and stuff you're going for and how detailed and intricate, I guess, you want to make it. I am definitely as well not doing this to the best of the ability because it's just a quick little tutorial to help you guys make your own paths. But definitely you can start to see there's some different colors and it kind of gives it different textures as well. So as you've started to add more colors, you can kind of see it coming together a bit more. There's less of just like a one block color and more of like several smaller colors. And play around with those different hues and shades and everything, because like, as I said, so for instance, let's look at this path that I've just put down. If I'm gonna go here and change the color, you can see on there that it changes. So you can really, once you've put these dots down, really fiddle around with colors and what's gonna fit in best there. But you'll sort of start to get this path coming together, and you just keep on adding. That's the best advice that I can give when it comes to the dirt path, is more is better when it comes to these like little intricate details and colors and stuff, because it gives it a different consistency of like dirt and everything. It's a little boring and a little tedious, but I promise it is all very much worth it. So that is only with a couple of colors, obviously, and still you can just see how that's really coming together. And then yeah, you can always go back, so you can say I don't really see a lot of this color because it was the first one I did, so let's go through and add some more of that in there, and you can sort of see what areas are a little lacking. So for instance, I can't really see a lot of colors in like some of these smaller spots, so I'm just going to go through and add in some different shades and everything there. And then if you've got, for instance, there's different colors here, but there's nothing darker there. So I'm just going to go in and add a couple of darker shades and stuff. And it all starts to really come together. So once you've got this base path sorted, as I said, you can start adding in like some leaves or flowers and stuff. But let's just say that this is all you want to do. All you got to do is done. So as you can see, obviously it's not great. It could be better, but there's different shades, the different colors and everything there. And it does help it look really realistic with all those different shades and everything. I would think leaves and flowers really help complement everything and bring it all together as one path. But all you're going to do from here is hit done. You can design your pattern whatever. Because you'll visually see it, you don't have to name it something like dirt, middle, or left, right sort of thing, but you can. I'm just going to name it this for the sake of it. Now from here is where it gets really easy and something that I wish that I did with my path. Once you're over a path that you've designed, all you have to do is hit Y and you go copy. From here, you can copy it over to the next one. And if it's a design that you don't want anymore, you can just go delete. So from here, you just hit select and then change design again. So this is the copied version of this pattern. Now from here, the greatness of this entire tool, all you're going to want to do is make sure that there's one spot connecting there just to hit the different pattern and one spot sort of connecting here. So as long as those two corners are still there, they will connect to the pattern fine, and you can do whatever you want with the rest of it. You can do like a straight across, you can do a sort of zigzag, and yeah, so this is where it gets really fun and exciting, and you can do individual things with it, really making it your own. So I'm just gonna make this like kind of cool-ish like zigzag pattern. And the only extent of really decorating and stuff that you've got to do here is if you've got like flowers and stuff and different colors and leaves, I would just go ahead and add them in. And then also, for instance, this big gaping hole here is not really the vibe. So we're going to close it up. We can add a different hole somewhere else, but I would say don't want it to be too close to the base pattern. So I would go and close all of these up and just make some different holes elsewhere. And then all you got to do is just do your quick same thing again, just adding in some different dots and everything, because obviously there's only a few spots here now that I have to cover up. It's a lot easier. And then you can go like around the sides and do your regular sort of outline and everything per se. That is pretty much the like base of it. Once you do that centerpiece, you can do all of these side pieces. If you're wanting to do like a single middle path, you just need to make sure that this spot here and this spot on each side connects. As long as all the corners are hitting. So if it's a, corner path like this, as long as the bottom left and the top right are hitting, or if it's the opposite side sort of thing, as long as one dot on each corner meets, then that's totally fine. You can do whatever you want in the center, just so that it hits up with that base bit. But that is pretty much it. This is a not very well done path, but we can confirm it. We can change the name or something. And then that's the path there. And then despite them not looking great, please ignore that. If I was then to display this on the ground and that there, you can see now that these paths really connect and add up, and that they connect on each corner as well. So that is the base of how to make your own dirt path. Again, you can do this in any color. If you want to have like a pink dirt path or a purple dirt path, you can do that. The custom designs portal is really sort of endless for that sort of stuff. And as I said, if you're not liking the colors, you can always change it with your palette or color tools. But like, for instance, there's so many different possibilities and stuff. We could have this pink like funfetti, all that sort of stuff. You could have like a grass path with this sort of idea and everything. There's definitely lots of different things that you can do, and it's just a really fun way to make the game a little bit more your own. Anyway, besties, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. And if there's any like other Animal Crossing like tips and tricks that you would like to see from me, let me know in the comments below. I'd be more than happy to have a look into them. Well, I know that this wasn't like a professional how to do them. This is definitely for all of you beginners out there, just like myself, who maybe have not designed a pattern themselves. Despite this game being out for 3 years, that 30-day hard challenge was the first time I ever designed my own ground patterns, and even clothing ones too. Like I just never did it because I never knew how to, and I never had that like ability to do it. So I hope that this video may even help out one of you guys in how to make your own dirt path for Animal Crossing, to just make your own a little bit more your own. But anyway, besties, on that note, I will catch all of you guys on my next video. Bye everybody.